Hey everybody, this is 300 IQ per hour and this is my first ever video. I'm here to talk about one of my favorite video game series, Metroid. Oh my sweet Palutena, Metroid. Just look at it. Just freaking look at it. Anyways, in this video, I'm counting down the top 4 things I like about this series. This was going to be a top 5 with Phazon as number 5, but I haven't beaten Prime 3, so I don't know very much about Phazon. And I don't want to do a half-assed entry where I rip half the stuff straight from Wikitroid. Plus, I don't want to spoil it for myself. Selfish, I know. So, begin, I guess. That means now. Why do I have to do everything myself? Alright. Cue intro. From a giant dinosaur with a one-eyed brain for a head, to a water worm ODing on speed, to a freaking hornet's nest, there are a shit ton of different enemies in the Metroid series. I could go on for literal hours about this, so I'll spare you and go over which species come to mind, and go over how it manages to fit such a variety. Ready, set, go. Metroid, Space Pirates, the X, the Ing, the Government, and the hundreds of craploads of individual alien species. Favorites among the bosses, at least off the top of my head, being Emperor Ing, Metroid Prime, Ceres, Vorash, Nightmare, Quadraxis, Chaika, Gore, and of course, Rundus. The reason it has such a variety is because it's in space. But that's not the entirety of it. Most every Metroid game takes place on an alien planet or planets, so there are loads of different and unique species. Metroid Prime 1 and 2 are the best examples, with Shigos, Magmoors, Warwolves, freaking Chozo ghosts. The Ing, Space Pirates, Metroids, do I seriously need to go on? Talon 4 is where Prime 1 takes place, and it has one of the most varying natural environments of any game I've ever played, period. Talon 4 has swamps, deserts, magma-filled underground caverns, and a completely frozen over mountain range. Each area is also expansive and fills you with a sense of wonder, from the magma-filled Magmoor caverns with its sense of exploration and epic music, to Thundrena Drifts with its serene music and feeling of isolation. Also, thanks to the Space Pirates building an underground research complex, you have a variety of Space Pirates to deal with as well as Metroids. My favorites among these being the Omega Pirate, the Flying Pirate, and the Adolescent Metroids. What about Metroid Prime 3? Well, because of the nature of the game, I'm not going to go into too much detail. Metroid Prime 3 doesn't have very many new enemies, but it makes up for that in spades with its location. The best examples being Skytown and the desolate planet of Spyro. You see, Skytown is a giant mechanical city floating in the sky made up of multiple areas. Sorry, Bioshock, looks like Metroid beat you to it. What's really cool and actually kind of sad about Spyro is that it doesn't move. Because of the over-pollution of the machines, natives went a little crazy when they chose to introduce the technology. Due to constant abuse of the technology, more than 90% of the planet is uninhabitable. About half the planet is constantly in direct sunlight, and the other half is frozen completely from lack of sunlight. What inhabitable areas there are made up of dense jungles lined along the equator. Oh, and going back to Metroid Prime 1, one quick question. Why are adolescents stronger than regular Metroids? For those of you who are watching this for entertainment over information, skip this entry. Because I'm about to go over Samus's power suit. Pull up a seat and get some popcorn because this is going to take a long time. Alright. Power Beam, Wave Beam, Ice Beam, Plasma Beam, Missile Launcher, Super Missiles, Ice Missiles. These are Samus's main offensive capabilities. Please note that I'll be going over the 4 beam types as they were in Metroid Prime. The power beam is Samus's default weapon and can be charged to fire a much more powerful shot. In some games, an upgrade called the charge beam is required to do this. The wave beam is an electrically charged beam that fires slightly slower and does a little more damage. Its charge shots also have slight homing capabilities. The ice beam fires much slower than Samus's other beams, but deals more damage and will freeze enemies after a couple shots. Finally, the plasma beam, my favorite of the four. It fires at a normal rate and deals a lot of damage and burns whatever it hits. The downside is, it has an extremely short range. Samus has three kinds of missiles: normal, which in most games is her secondary attack, super, which is a more powerful version of that, and ice, which has a splash radius that freezes everything within. It's basically the super missile, but with ice capabilities. Totally mind-blowing, right?
Mind blown.
Told you so. Do you know that that awesome looking visor Samus has isn't just for show? Samus actually has several different visors that are all incredibly helpful. There's the thermal visor, which was invented by the space pirates, and then you took it. As its name implies, it lets you see heat signatures from targets. Combine this with the seeker missiles and nothing will escape. Then there's the X-ray visor, which basically does exactly what you'd think it'd do. It lets you see through thinner walls and find lots of hidden items. It is very useful, but unfortunately it was only in Prime 1. Shame. And finally, there's the most unique of them, the Echo Visor. To get to the Echo Visor, you have to go through Dark Samus, but it is very much worth it, as once you get it, you can use echolocation, usually to hack doors and other forms of machinery and security. A very cool concept. The visors are just one of the many reasons why the 3D Metroid games are awesome. I mean, they could never have done something like this in a game like Super Metroid. Now for Samus's trademark ability. Pinball, Morph Ball, is a small sphere in which Samus curls up into and is propelled by whatever makes that weird tail of energy. And of course, there are a variety of power-ups specifically designed for Morph Ball. She has Morph Ball bombs, which are made out of that, and explode a few seconds after being deployed. Samus can have up to 3 Morph Ball bombs out at once, and can use them to jump using what is known as Morph Ball bouncing. The Morph Ball boost lets Samus boost while in Morph Ball mode. Yeah, we're getting really scientific now. Usually, this is used to get to high places using half pipes or to rotate gears. And then the Spider Ball lets Samus move along magnetic surfaces. Spider Ball, Spider Ball. No, I'm not gonna go there. And can be combined with Morph Ball boost to zip along magnetic rails. It's actually pretty fun, and it is very useful in the Quadraxis fight. But I mean, seriously, they land perfectly so that you can use them to get on Quadraxis' head.
What do you know? Haven't you heard of suspension of disbelief?
Not now! And now, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the one, the only, Power Bomb!
Are you ready for this?
Apparently they weren't ready. Seriously though, talk about OP, especially in Fusion, where you can carry so many, and other than bosses, 2 will guarantee kill anything that isn't. They are also great for puzzle solving, since they reveal what is required to break certain blocks. Thank fuck for that. I don't want to spend all day on Wikitroid. Lastly, there are the Grapple Beam, Space Jump, and Speed Boost. Speed Boost gives you super speed, no frickin' duh, after running in the same direction long enough, and can be used to rocket upwards or shoulder charge. The Grapple Beam can be used to pull things or swing around, and the Space Jump allows infinite jumping. In some games it is downgraded to the Space Jump Boost, which just allow another jump. But wait, there's something else. Something even more overpowered than the Power Bomb. A little something you may have heard of called the Screw Attack. While this thing freaking sucks in the 3D Metroid games, and especially in Smash Bros. In the 2D games, this is the textbook definition of overpowered. I can sum it up with this. Golden Pirate goes down in one hit. Thank you and good night.
Bye, have a great time.
No wait, I was joking. Now where were we? Oh, right. Lastly, let's go over the suit itself. Believe it or not, Samus has more than just the power suit. Samus has a variety of suits, all compatible with her power suit. She has the gravity suit, which makes her immune to anything that manipulates gravity, such as water or the vacuum of space. Phazon suit, which I'll be going over in my next video, and the most notable of all, the Varia suit. Not Varia suit. I don't know why people pronounce it like that, but it's clearly Varia suit. Metroid is from Nintendo, which is from Japan. There is no I sound in Japanese. Okay, so the only pronunciation is Varia, because there's no A or I sounds in Japanese. Anyway, rant over. Most depictions of Samus actually show her with the Varia suit on. An easy way to tell if she's wearing it is to look at her shoulders. If she has those orbs, then she is wearing the Varia suit. Now for what it actually does. Other than being a much needed cosmetic change, she looks downright frail without it. It's pitiful. The Varia suit practically doubles Samus's defensive capabilities, makes her completely immune to acid, and protects her from extreme atmospheric temperatures. But cold and heat-based attacks still hurt her, and she can still be frozen and hurt by lava or magma, as well as radiation, especially Phazon. I'm sorry, but I refuse to believe that the Chozo weren't at least to a certain extent diviners, because the power suit is compatible with fucking everything. Like, even the government technology in Prime 3 works with it. Are you seriously telling me that no one thinks that's at least a little strange?
What do you know? Haven't you heard of suspension of
Johnny, one more word and I'll blow your head off. And now the big one. Literally. Other than ability loss and the vast assortment of power-ups, Metroid is by and far best known for its bosses, the most famous off the top of my head being Nightmare, Quadraxis, Mother Brain, Dark Samus, and Rundus. This entry is going to be pretty short, but I'll be making top 10 Metroid bosses after this, so you'll hear my opinions on individual bosses then. For now, I'll go over what makes them stand out so much. There are mainly two things. 1. The variety. From the SAX, your power suit possessed by a parasitic alien virus with the ability to absorb knowledge and data from its victims and machines and copy their forms. To Falloon, a Leviathan-sized alien ghost with a giant eye that shoots ghostly flames and tentacles that create black holes. I shit you not, black holes. To Rundus, a fellow bounty hunter with inherent cryokinetic abilities corrupted by Phazon. Again, the variety is a result of the fact that it's a freaking space game. What do you expect? They can basically do whatever they want with the species and characters. And 2, for the most part, they are gigantic. Flagra, Vorash, Quadraxis, the previously mentioned Falloon, Emperor Ing, Metroid Prime, Chica, I could go on for hours. Flagra, the first boss of Metroid Prime, not counting the Parasite Queen, but even that is pretty big, is a giant half-animal, half-plant Venus flytrap that has rooted itself in a giant solarium and has scyther arms. Flagra's sheer size and intimidation sets the tone for the rest of the game really well. Vorash is a giant magma-covered worm that you beat by fishing, while an inactive volcano. Falloon, to go into greater detail, is a giant leviathan, and I literally mean leviathan, that's not an exaggeration in the least, from God knows where deep space, and is the ex-commander of the space pirates. And as I said, he's a ghost. In case you haven't noticed, most of the bosses follow a certain trend. They're enormous, and those that aren't are at least incredibly unique or just plain awesome, be it in fight or design. Honestly, at this point, I'm just being redundant. What do you get when you combine Ziz with a pterodactyl, make him purple, and make him more persistent than the Hunter, Bowser, and Sigma combined? You get the commander of the space pirates and the ultimate badass, Ridley! Ridley is my all-time fave video game character. Yes, even more than Tails. Think of it this way, I'd rather have Tails be real than Ridley. Anyways, Ridley is the leader of the space pirates and Samus's arch rival, and by far Samus's deadliest adversary, even more than Dark Samus and MB. Armed with explosives and plasma lasers, he has some decent firepower on him already, but the real threat lies in his melee arsenal. Despite his size and appearance, Ridley's aptitude for hand-to-hand combat is on par with Little Mac. Ridley is a beast in physical combat, with swift mobility, claws, and that fucking tail. I swear that thing has a mind of its own, and all it can think is kill. My second and third favorite things about Ridley are 1. Meta Ridley. Best boss fight ever. Also, for some weird reason, I think Meta Ridley is strangely cooler looking than Omega Ridley. Go figure. And 2, he's one of Nintendo's smartest characters, relative to the series the character's in, obviously. Once again, despite his appearance, Ridley is highly intelligent. Many people assume that because he resembles a dinosaur that he's all strength and no brains. But Ridley is actually highly intelligent. The problem is his intelligence is often overshadowed by Mother Brain. But even without Mother Brain, he commands the space pirates. The best example of his intelligence is in the 3D Metroid games. In these games, Ridley changes tactics to cover his weaknesses, especially in Prime. In Prime, his weakness is his chestplate, but after bombarding you from the air with lasers and practically making it rain explosives, his wings burn up and he is forced to land. You'd think this would make things much easier, but to that I say, ha! Instead, Ridley becomes even more devastating, putting his combat skills to good use, and once again, that tail is a menace! What can you say about Ridley other than,
Ah! It's so awesome!
my main reason for loving Ridley so much is he will not die.
Fatality.
Or rather, he won't stay dead. That thing I said about the Hunter, Bowser, and Sigma? I was serious, no exaggeration. Sure, Bowser never gives up, but he doesn't come back from the dead. Except for Dry Bowser, but no one really cares about that. Ridley has come back so many different ways you can make a list out of them. Which I did. Cloned and genetically enhanced, made into a cyborg, infused with and mutated by Phazon after becoming a cyborg, preserved in Sub-Zero containment and copied by X-parasites, and reincarnated. Let me explain the last one. To do so, I'll have to delve into what I consider to be one of the better Metroid games. Metroid Other M. Warning, spoilers for Metroid Other... Oh, fuck this. If you didn't see this coming, that's your own damn fault. In Other M, Ridley was cloned. But unlike before, he had to grow up again, and you even encounter him in his child and adolescent forms. When you finally find him in his adult form in the Pyrosphere, he targets you over Henry, who is freaking awesome.
Hey! Hey, Pop! Don't you know how to treat a lady? Man, you got no style! I think I gotta teach you a lesson about subtlety! Come on!
Until Henry starts shooting at him to provide distraction. Ridley also attacks Samus with much more ferocity, and it is clear that he does so. This leads me to believe that he still has knowledge of his previous life, or at the very least, his rivalry with Samus. Speaking of Ridley and Other M, stop bitching about Samus being scared. In case you didn't know, the Samus fans of the Metroid fanbase complain that Ridley ruined Samus' character by scaring her. Fuck that bullshit. Ridley killed Samus' parents when they first met. I say met because Samus and Ridley have a conversation. It's pretty hilarious until it ends with Ridley saying, "It's a shame you have to die," to an 8-year-old. But the point still stands. Afterwards, Samus' mom finds her and shields her from Ridley's blast, dropping dead before her eyes. The Chozo, who had been visiting earlier, then managed to save Samus before Ridley kills her. Oh, but Ridley never scared her before. True, but there is a reason. In Other M, Ridley's back to his original form, and what's more, he's about to kill Henry, someone Samus was friends with when she was part of the Federation. In other words, someone she's close to, just like her parents, thus triggering PTSD. Some fans. So, sum it up, Ridley for SSB Universe, and to the Metroid fanbase, Ridley has a little message for you.
Fuck you! I